Hey guys, remember to like the video and hit subscribe.
Canvassing is not the only political action that I have engaged in, even though I have done that as well. For Bernie Sanders, of course. But that was many years ago. Political action takes many forms, especially in a country that is like, especially in a country that's run by a duopoly. You have to be outside of that duopoly.
We're busy covering Hassan's slop right now, okay? We will get to this Atlantic story soon. Although I don't know what the big deal is. You guys don't plan national security in huge military operations on Signal? Hello? I don't know what your issue is. People are coming down real hard on the Trump admin. I don't know why. Just because he accidentally dragged a journalist into some Signal group where they were planning military operations and shit and had pages and pages of top secret plans that were going on. Like, if you guys care about this, let me reintroduce you to a little concept called Hillary's emails, okay? Thank you. Hillary's emails, all right? Think about that. Do you have any idea how many military plans and everything got leaked from Hillary's emails, by the way? I don't know the number, but I bet it was a lot. It was zero.
When you're engaging in political action, whether it be fundraisers, whether it be awareness campaigns, which I do virtually every single day, interviewing politicians, interviewing organizers, interviewing labor activists, interviewing labor leaders.
Is this all of this? Wait. Let me say, I've done tons of activism. I interviewed these people that came to my stream, that came to my house while I was streaming and let me stream and talk to them, and streamed and talked to them while I was interviewing these people, and I streamed.
That duopoly when you're engaging in political action, whether it be fundraisers, whether it be awareness campaigns.
Awareness campaigns. That's what I'm going to start doing from now on. I'm not covering the news, guys. This is a goddamn awareness campaign, okay?
Which I do virtually every single day. Interviewing politicians, interviewing organizers, interviewing labor activists, interviewing labor leaders, the chairman of the FTC.
Oh my
like,
God.
What are we? It always feels weird when I'm defending myself, interviewing wildfire firefighters that are incarcerated, working with a local organizer.
Yeah.
In doing direct mutual aid in Skid Row, while also
direct mutual aid. Today I learned mutual aid is when you give shirts to people. True.
Simultaneously talking to people that
how is that not political action, though? It's like 30K eyes on politicians and people he wants to promote. If he actually did that more, then I would be more okay with it, I guess. The problem is that, one, it's the laziest form of activism, which is still better than nothing, but two, it's usually just people to up his clout. Like, if he was going out, like, finding local politicians in places that he wanted to support and trying to, like, get his people to support them or something, then maybe sure, but usually it's just all stuff that it's all people that he already 100% agrees with and everything, that want to come on a stream and reinforce some political narrative that he already has, that he thinks he'll generally do okay for viewership on. It's just like he just has so much money. He has so much money and so much clout that he could be doing so much with it, but he does basically nothing. It's just cringe. But whatever.
Ahead of time gave consent and wanted to be on camera to humanize homeless people.
Thank you.
All of these things are, maybe you don't agree with my position on any of this, but those are all political actions. Now, a lot of this stuff is also, fundraising for Amazon Labor Union, fundraising for
why the fuck are you talking like you do something? Hassan actually does on-the-ground mutual aid. Meanwhile, you're here redoing your studio/personal streaming equipment over and over and over. Do you know how many jobs I sustain by ordering different cameras? Do you know how many Amazon drivers owe their lives completely to my constantly ordering stuff? Do you know how many Black Magic employees are still alive and working because of how many different cameras I've bought of theirs? Okay? You don't know what it's like to support half the amateur videography economy just on your studio rebuild. So don't talk to me about activism, kid, bucko, green name, not even a rainbow name, a green name in chat.
Immigrant charities, interviewing politicians alongside political action groups that defend undocumented migrants, going to Japan, interviewing the Japanese Communist Party leadership. I don't know. There's so much. It's so stupid. Interviewing direct survivors like Motaz Zaiza in my home, or interviewing the now Oscar award winning documentarians from the West Bank, also at my home.
Is he saying at his home like that's like he's just being lazy?
These are all moments of political
Activism.
activation and activism.
Yeah, activation and activism. True.
Are they mad you don't take credit for everything you do? I don't know. It just feels
I don't take credit for everything I do. Oh my God. Oh, he's so selfless.
very strange, because even if I didn't do any of that and simply did political awareness campaigns from my house, that would still be inherently a political act.
How is he phrasing from my house, guys? Like is that a positive?
Okay, going to strikes, covering them, like all this stuff is those are all political actions. When did you canvass your community? I did it for Bernie Sanders, but I don't know why. Where is he lying though? Why haven't you called your community? Are you a
For Bernie Sanders? Oh, when he ran for president in 2016 or 2020? Okay, good job, I guess. But then tells his people that, doesn't tell them to vote for the candidate, doesn't tell them to vote for Kamala, doesn't. Okay, good job.
Did you just not hear any of the words that came out of my mouth? I never saw you at UCLA.
Ooh.
You're joking, right? Why lie? Lamau, Hassan, you didn't do any of that. Why lie? I never saw you at UCLA.
Ooh.
Oh, this is so sad.
He mad.
I know you're joking, chatter, but there are people who unironically think this. Also, yeah, thank you for the bait. That was really good. Also, just Google it, okay? And as far as canvassing goes, that is not the end-all be-all of political activism. What the are you talking about?
Ooh, he hates it. He hates it. Oh my God, the canvassing triggers him so much. Also, just to be like clear, I guess, with my audience, because some people think that I only do this for political clout or whatever, and they're right. Canvassing is not the be-all and end-all, by the way. It's just one of the ways that I found, like, oh, I've got people, I can put them on the ground somewhere and go do something effective, or at least somewhat effective. But like, there are other ways to get involved too, of course. I'm not saying that canvassing is the best way to do it. It's just the one way that I found. But yeah, he hates the canvassing stuff, probably because people compare him to me or whatever.
Literally at the DNC. What do you mean? When did you canvass? I did not canvass for Kamala Harris. Yes, I didn't.
We know.
The are you talking about? What is this expectation that the only... So Mudahar did not lie? No, you baboon. Mudahar did lie by saying you've never engaged in any political action. You've never canvassed, which is already a lie. As I told you, I did canvass.
One time in Vegas in 2020.
I did not canvass for Kamala Harris. That does not mean that I didn't do any sort of political action. Why is your definition of political action simply canvassing for a candidate that was dog shit?
Ooh.
Did you ever rally your community to canvass? As a matter of fact, this community did canvass for Kamala Harris. What the are you talking about?
This community did? What does that mean?
Yes, we mobilize every election cycle, regardless. Yes. I also literally went to the DNC, interviewed Democratic Party politicians. What are you talking about?
The first part of that was him outside, by the way, protesting with the, what are they called? They had a name. Not the non-alignment group. That doesn't make sense. What were they called outside? It was the pro-Palestinian people who were upset. There was a name for these people. Was it the uncommitted? That sounds dark as f***. What's that word? The uncommitted. Okay. Sounds like something out of Dark Souls. But yeah, he was literally with them before he went into the DNC. But
the uncommitted protesters. You are just simply, telling the people to vote. Oh my God, doesn't count. Man, shut the f up. Shut up, please. You don't have a point here. You are unable to comprehend that political action is not simply just door knocking for Kamala Harris. Okay? If that is your narrow definition of political action, then you're a baboon.
Damn. There are black people in my community, by the way, so that's racist. Just saying.
Just because you have not watched does not change the reality that it did not happen. Oh my God.
How did he mean he canvassed for Kamala when he just said he didn't canvass? What does he mean? He said my community did. So my guess is a couple people probably took a picture and showed that they were canvassing. So he says his community did, is my guess. Aren't Hassan's streams unironically more politically effective for his views than door knocking? Yeah, but the thing is you can leverage your stuff into real life stuff. I just wish that, like, the right is so good at this, right? Back in the day, it was like Lauren doing the boat and flares at immigrant boats got a ton of attention, and it was them doing stuff in real life, or all the documentary she does or did or whatever. Or for Nick Fuentes, CPAC, and getting actual politicians there, bringing people to do like a, or not, I keep calling it CPAC. It's modeled after CPAC, but AFPAC. Him getting people to actually go there and to have their little like political, I don't know, their political rally. Or Charlie Kirk starting his like chapters across schools and everything, and like working now with the president, and you know, getting young men active in the conservative party and everything. It's just like, for some reason, like conservatives they just seem to be so much more, I don't know, they practice politics more, and people on the left just seem to mainly be practicing entertainment. Like on the left, it's more like, what is entertaining my audience? And then I just maximize for that. And then that's where it basically stops. And then political stuff is okay as long as it's part of that being entertaining. But outside of that, no one gives a fuck. But then on the right, it seems like they're more like, how can I maximize my entertainment for political power? How can I get more, whether it's positions in the government for some of these people, or just expanding their the political reach of the conservative movement? Why don't progressives do this? Do they not want actual power? I don't know, man. That stupid ContraPoints quote lives in my head. What view is it in her video?
You know, this useless internalized scolding. I think I'm done with my makeup. What do we think? Leave a comment. I'm always hesitant to do anything about skincare, since last time I did skincare I was critiqued by Hiram. So I am gonna spray my face a couple times.
Like, it feels like this more.
The goal of resentment politics is not to improve conditions. In fact, the resentful person is full of contempt for any morally compromised sellouts who are attempting to enact plausible reforms. They don't want victory. They don't want power. They want to endlessly critique power. Because for them, critique is an important psychological defense against feeling impotent. Shaler described it this way.
It is peculiar to ressentiment criticism that it does not seriously desire that its demands be fulfilled. It does not want to cure the evil. The evil is merely a pretext for the criticism.
This is Ben Burgess reading this, I can tell. But regardless, I feel like it's just this, like the people on the left just want to complain about everything, is a simpler way of summarizing it, but it's what it feels like, yeah.
Even if I were to go out and canvass, you'd be like, well, you didn't knock on my door. Bro's like, you didn't do any political canvassing. I literally lent support to Greg Kazar, who is now the head of the Progressive Caucus. What are you talking about? That is also canvassing, you dumb. I also voted on camera. Oh my God, why am I responding?
And voted on camera and didn't tell them to vote for the president as Kamala, but okay.
Person, why you ban? Why do I ban? Because I don't want to keep having a back and forth conversation with a person who has no interest in understanding the truth and is simply in here to talk shit.
Do you think it's because the left is more accepting of different personalities, which may make it harder to be cohesive in coordination for events? I don't know why. I'm sure there's a lot of different reasons. There are reasons floating in my head, but assigning like an accurate magnitude to each one is difficult. Like the fact that people on the left, especially in entertainment or online, tend to be wealthier, tend to be more educated, are probably a little bit more insulated maybe from societal problems. So at the end of the day, it's all just kind of like upping your clout and upping your popularity anyway. You don't actually care much because at the end of the day, the things don't affect you, maybe. I don't know. That's just a guess. I don't know. Maybe not.
Over and over again. And because I'm so autistic, I can't stop myself from constantly correcting this person's idiotic shit. And they know this, so they just keep changing, moving the goalposts over and over again. Free speech? Now, what the are you talking about? Free speech? Getting banned from a Twitch chat for being a moron is not free speech. Arresting someone in the dead of the night for not a crime that they've committed, but instead for their political advocacy is actually a violation of free speech.
No, I don't exactly understand how.
Why is there so much infighting on the left? I don't know. The purity testing. Maybe it's because they don't have a common rally point. Like on the right, as long as you're cool with Trump, everything else is okay. And then on the left, there's no common candidate to rally around. I don't even know if they really have a common enemy, because their enemy is like everyone. Like on the left and right, like for the Democrats and the Republicans on the far right. I don't know, man. It's just fucked.
Exactly canvassing for like a Democratic Party candidate would possibly ever be more effective politically than speaking to like hundreds of thousands of people about politics. Like you go to some grandma's door and try to tell her not to vote for Trump. How is that possibly a better use of your time as someone with a platform that gets to hundreds of thousands of people than just talking to those hundreds of thousands of people? What a dumb thing to say.
You know, I'll actually go as far as to say it like this. I will.
Also, it was a lie. Like, he literally said, I've never seen this guy ever do any political action, which I corrected, and that dumb was still like, well, you didn't canvass, so where did he lie?
Like politics.
I did canvass, just not for Kamala Harris. I'm not going to canvass for a person who is not.
I wish these clips were more. I don't even know. I'm not saying you should sabotage them, like try to mail them to journalists or something. I wish that people would be more aware of this stuff when he went out to talk in these like liberal podcasts. Like, this guy shits on Kamala hard. He attacks her hard. And then he comes on, he's like, yeah, so like the Democrats, we got to do what we can to win. It's like, this guy's not your friend.
No way that I can get people to vote for Kamala Harris by outflanking or outright lying about her positions. The do you mean? She had horrible positions and she lost for that reason.
Never actually seen any form of political action. I've never seen any candidates.
Yeah, see, I've never seen any form of political action. That is an objectively untrue statement. This is precisely the reason why I explained a number of different things that I've done in terms of political action.
Not to be sexist, but do you think it has something to do about the men to women ratio of each party? I don't know. I don't think so. But
it's just shit that you don't care about. It's not like you weren't open to the idea either. You literally said she would sign an arms embargo into law. You would buy a bus and door knock across the country. I know, but that doesn't matter.
Is there anything else of substance here, or is it just him repeating? He just seems mad.
By this guy.
Just to note, I don't exactly understand how exactly canvassing for like a Democratic Party speak and try to tell her not to vote for Trump. How is that possibly a better use of your time as someone with a platform that gets to hundreds of thousands?
Defend Muda? I don't even know who's attacking who here. It's Bad Empanada is attacking Mudahar, but he threw a small piece of shade at Hassan. So I think Hassan has spent most of this segment fighting things that Bad Empanada is saying without talking about Mudahar much at all. And I'm reacting to all of it. We're in 4 dimensions of react right now. Well, thanks, Will Kane, for the HK $50. Does that mean Hong Kong? I don't know what that means.
Of people than just talking to those hundreds of thousands of people. What a dumb thing to say.
You know, that also is true. And I did tell my platform of hundreds of thousands of people to not vote for Donald Trump.
Actually go as far as to say it like this. I will, on my own dime, pay for both of. How about this? At my own dime and my own expense, and like, you know, I'll give up my days of work and making serious money. I will fly both.
I've got the Atlantic article up. We'll read it at 2. Stop spamming every random tweet you see about it, please. Holy fuck.
Both of us down.
Like you wouldn't make.
Damn, dude. Yeah, money was the object here in terms of going into Gaza. And
I feel like there is a can of worms out there with the label lots of liberal journalists are actually socialists with a barely kept mask. I think there are solidly liberal journalists. I think that all of like the quote unquote socialist people are actually progressives who are just like younger people that write for some kind of like super progressive publications. But I don't think that they're like MLs like Hassan is, like actual tanky people. They're like progressives who are like fake socialists. But yeah, it's kind of complicated, kind of weird, but
not the apartheid regime. This in and of itself, for the record, is another form of denial, where you are so stupid that you unintentionally are making it seem as though it's somewhere that you can just...
Would you say the infighting is as a result of the left actually having policy debates in comparison to the right who have settled with Trump? No, the left doesn't have policy... Not leftists don't have policy debates. No, it's just a endless purity testing spiraling. They don't have policy debates.
Holocaust denial, genocide denial, where you are so stupid that you unintentionally are making it seem as though it's fucking somewhere that you can just go to and that money is the actual object here. That's not the problem, you fucking superficial moron.
Ooh.
You think I don't have money? What are you, stupid?
Lots of non-socialist libs would never criticize someone like Hassan, though. Yeah, because we got into this weird world where the far left like held the Democratic Party hostage somehow. I don't know how that happened. Well, sometimes your extremes can hold your party hostage, but they did it without supporting the candidate, without supporting the candidates. That's always been my biggest issue. Like if you have like one progressive in a room and like 50 moderates, and the progressive says some shit, today is going to be a day of remembrance for all the black people that died in slavery. Open your wallet and give $10 to the black person next to you. Like the 50 moderates will like go along with it because nobody wants to say anything, even if the vast majority of the room thinks it's stupid. And the progressive somehow leads the convo though. I don't know how. I don't know why that is the dynamic or how that happened, but
I thought that everybody knew I was like the fake socialist because I'm so rich. I'm so caked up. I thought that was the
nobody cares that Hassan is rich. I don't know why he keeps saying that. Nobody cares that Hassan is rich. The issue is not you being rich or having a nice house or a nice car. I think that's all good and fine. It's just weird that it seems like you do very little. You're literally a dragon hoarding wealth, that you practice hyper-capitalism, hyper-consumerism to the fullest extent possible, while also talking about how evil capital is. Just a very weird dynamic. And then it seems like you don't do much to help the people out that you could be. But I mean, it is what it is, you know.
you know, other side of this equation.
Holy we got 2 more minutes. This is boring.
How about this, dude? I'll give Mudahar $100,000.
Why don't people pick up on how Hassan talks? Like, he speaks so calculatedly. It's like insanely obviously emotionally manipulative. You know, one thing I thought about the Bernie and AOC stream that Hassan did, and it got to like, wait, did somebody say it capped out? It did get to 50K viewers or 53K top. I think that my feeling is it's so hard to quantify these like communities and where they exist. It feels like Hassan has a community on Twitch, in part due to no political opposition until Asmongold, because when I was banned, I was basically the only large politics guy on here, and Vosh is too scared to stream on Twitch. I don't know why. So it feels like Hassan has kind of like got this audience that he's cultivated on Twitch that are going to be with him almost no matter what, but he doesn't draw much from outside of Twitch or draw much from on other platforms. That's why when he does like shows with other people, the viewership tends to be lower than a lot lower than you would expect. And why when he does, I guess, like a major event like interviewing AOC and Bernie, he doesn't draw many extra viewers. So I feel like Hassan has his people on Twitch and he can say almost anything to them, but his messaging can be kind of crazy because he's either given up on appealing to people outside of Twitch, or he's not aware of how, I guess, unpalatable his messaging has become, but I'm not sure. I don't know what the answer is for that.
How about this, dude? I'll give Mudahar $100,000 on top of everything else, on top of covering his entire expenses, if he straps himself with a camera and goes to Gaza and interviews people in my stead. How about that?
He says the reason why he says straps himself with a camera, he's acting like he's going to get assassinated by the IDF. Mudahar should take him up on this. I would go, by the way, if he wants to for 100K, I would go with Mudahar. We could go into I'm sure that we could arrange with Kogat. I know people from Kogat because I met someone I was doing interviews in Israel. We could probably get like inside of the Gaza Strip. I don't know how deep he wants us to go. For 100K, Mudahar, take it.
On top of everything else, on top of covering his entire expenses, if he straps himself with a camera and goes to Gaza and interviews people in my stead. How about that? Put a press vest on it too.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Because when you have the press vest on, Israel will try to shoot and murder you because they see press, they see media, and they kill press people. That's what he's saying. He's so cope.
Dumbass. As though that's the hurdle here. Go ahead, dude. They're killing Western World Central Kitchen aid workers that literally were getting that
was this like a year ago?
Were, you know, that were there with the Israeli government's go-ahead.
Bernie Sanders deserves a lot of the blame for the Democrat divide and issues with the far left, in my opinion. He let everyone run wild with the myth of the elite. The elite Dems snatched his obvious victory and gave it to Hillary. It's one of the reasons I'll always hate Bernie, on top of being dumb enough to call himself a socialist. I mean, I don't know how much I agree with that. I mean, like, in retrospect, the things that came from Bernie ended up being really bad. But, I mean, I could understand why on the Bernie side, and why, if you supported Bernie, why, like, the superdelegate system felt kind of dumb. Or you would be especially ass-paint over the debate questions being given to Donna Brazile, or from her to the Hillary camp. Or why you would feel like the establishment media was more against you than it was for Hillary, which it was. A lot of these had to do with the fact that Bernie just wasn't as popular as young people wanted him to be, though. But, like, I mean, I'm sympathetic to Bernie's feelings there. I don't think Bernie ever got into this world where Bernie was like, both sides are the exact same and who the cares who you vote for, though. Like, I don't think Bernie was as bad as everything that came from him. And I mean, like, the guy's like plus years old. So could he have predicted how the internet would have taken everything and gone crazy with it? I don't know.
Bro, why do you say such dumb shit like OMG? What do you mean? What? Yeet is going to clip this? What are you talking about? If you understand that is like straight up a death sentence, then you understand the point that he's making. Or do you understand the point that I'm making? Sorry. The fuck are you guys talking about? Of course it's not going to happen. That's my point. Me saying exactly what Mudahar is saying in reverse is is the exact thing that he's saying. It's just not going to happen. And it's not because of money.
Make a ton of money from something like this.
Both me and him to Israel, and we will drive across.
Yeah, we're going to go to Israel first, too. Not even through the Rafah border. We're not even through the border of Egypt. We're going to fly into Israel.
Can you even get into... I thought the Rafah border was sealed. I don't remember if they opened it or not. They might have opened it. I'm not sure. But what, the idea that he thinks that flying into Cairo and then driving over is like infinitely safer than going in through Israel is like, what, bro, he's so delusional. Nobody cares about you, little bro.
And then we're going to be able to walk into Gaza. Like, you are so delusional. You should be fearful to talk about politics if you're this stupid about politics. Yeah, we're just going to drive in. We're just going to drive into the concentration camp, dude. Israel's totally going to let us do that. Like, if you knew anything about what the is going on in the world, on that part of the world, in Israel.
Isn't it literally impossible going from Egypt to Gaza? I thought they sealed the Rafah border a long time ago. Like, you couldn't go through. I could be wrong on that, but I thought they did.
You could at least ask the question.
It could
I
be
wonder
open by
why
now too, though.
American journalists have not actually entered the Gaza Strip, with one notable exception. The only people that are allowed into Gaza from Western press can only go alongside onboarded IDF vessels, okay? You can't just walk into Gaza. Israel will kill you. What are you saying?
Do you think Israel let a guy
If you could
that
just
looks
walk
like
into
Muda...
Gaza, that means you could walk out of Gaza. If you could just walk out of Gaza, why aren't the Gazans walking out of Gaza?
Frozen.
Oh my Lord.
The border and like actually, you know,
Hello? Oh, whatever. It crashed.